We've just found another snare set right up against the boundary of the national park behind me. There we go. We will take that one away, and that is one less trap keeping wildlife safer. You need some help, bud, because... Oh, well done! Just half. I became a zookeeper because I had a deep love and a deep passion for animals ever since I can remember. It's something that I feel like I was born with. I remember being 2 or 3 and visiting Auckland Zoo and saying to my dad that I wanted to be a zookeeper. You're going to have a wonky hairdo today.
Stinky, honky, wonky, donkey.
It wasn't long after I became a zookeeper that I quickly realised the issues that the species that I was caring for are facing in the wild, just the urgency that we need to act and how quickly we need to share that information with our visitors. I got into zookeeping thinking that it was all about animals, but in actual fact it's all about people. My role has evolved over the years, and you can't have good conservation outcomes without it being people focused. Auckland Zoo gets more than 700,000 visitors every year, and it's my job and Auckland Zoo's job to inspire them to care for wildlife. That's at the root of everything we do. We're trying to connect our visitors with our animals and inspire every single one of those individuals to take positive action. I honestly believe that one person can make a difference, and collectively when you put all those individual voices together, that's when you have really good conservation outcomes, and that's been proven time and time again. The Leuser ecosystem is the last place on Earth left where Sumatran tigers, orangutans, elephants and rhinoceros can still be found together. That in itself makes it a hugely important piece of forest that we need to protect. I've been travelling to Sumatra since 2009 to work with these species. It's become really clear to me that if we don't do something collectively to try and save these species, we're going to lose them forever. You might not realise, but every time you visit Auckland Zoo, you're contributing directly to conservation and helping us with our conservation efforts around the world. In this series, I'd like to tell you how. At 2.6 million hectares, the Leuser ecosystem in Sumatra is the largest intact forest left in Southeast Asia. On a map, it looks like a set of lungs at the heart of the island of Sumatra, and its trees are a vital source of oxygen for the whole planet. It's home to some of the most incredible animals and a last refuge for many endangered ones. The Leuser is the kind of place our world desperately needs to stay healthy, and it's in trouble. Despite the land having protected national status, huge tracts of forest are being destroyed and converted for industrial use. If you're like me, you love wildlife and wild places. Part of our job at Auckland Zoo is to look after the animals in our care, and another part is to help look after the places their wild counterparts come from, to ensure their homes are protected and to inspire communities to care about conservation. That's why I'm here in Sumatra with Jack and Agus from the Sumatran Ranger Project. Auckland Zoo's Conservation Fund supports the Sumatran Rangers and the work they do in the buffer zone, which is the space between where people live and work and the forest that's been set aside for the animals. It's here we get tension and conflict with both humans and wildlife at risk. We're in a place called Sumbawaras, which is a forest edge community along the edge of the Gunung Leuser National Park, but it's also surrounded by a lot of palm oil plantations. This is a community that has extensive conflict with elephants who continually come in and cooperate in their community gardens. So we're here just to talk with the local community about ways that we might be able to help and just to give you more of an understanding and more of an awareness about what actually is happening to Sumatran elephants here in Indonesia. Sumatran elephants are critically endangered. Depending on who's counting, there may be as few as 1,000 left in the wild. They're small, as elephants go, weighing up to 5 tonnes and standing up to 9 feet tall. An adult elephant will eat around 150 kilos of food a day. They're social animals, so they live in herds. But as their natural forest habitat continues to disappear, the herds get smaller and they can't get to each other to reproduce, making extinction a real possibility. As industrial plantations have encroached into the national park, the elephants come into village gardens at night. The food there is easy pickings. You don't want a herd of elephants in your garden or on your porch, but that's what's been happening in the village of Sumberwaras.
Not anyone stay here because they already moved, because they are scared of the wild elephant. And then we can see from our behind here is the house. The elephant come here and then not just broken them plants but also them house.
Here's another example of what elephants can do. This was someone's house that elephants have knocked down in search of food or water. There was a family with kids inside sleeping and elephants came along and started pushing the building down, so they had to get out and run. Pretty scary. It isn't just people who suffer. Sadly, a baby elephant was recently found dead in a pit that had been dug in an oil palm plantation. If big companies continue to clear forest here and bring workers in to service their plantations, there's no easy solution to this problem of human-animal conflict. There are ways of working with elephants that help the local community. Not far from Sumberwaras is Tangkahan, home to a herd of Conservation Response Unit elephants who work to mitigate and prevent human-elephant conflict in Tangkahan and provide income as a tourist attraction. These elephants have all had some training and they all have mahouts and they spend a lot of time with people. They are the centre of ecotourism in Tangkahan. So they are really calm and relaxed elephants and easy and nice to be around. But they also understand wild elephant behaviour and they can also act as a really important tool to help move these wild elephants away safely from Tangkahan without coming into contact with people and then getting hurt. This isn't a program that Auckland Zoo currently funds, and I have to admit having complicated feelings about it. These are all elephants who used to be wild and who repeatedly raided crops, so they were taken into camps to be trained by mahouts. What they're doing here is better than life in a camp. Here they have the potential to raise awareness among tourists and educate the locals, as well as helping with human-elephant conflict, but that isn't currently happening as much as it might. The program illustrates how hard it is to balance conservation, animal welfare and community livelihoods against the protection of the environment. I wanted to show you because it's important to understand the complexities of working on the ground here in Sumatra, and just because it isn't perfect doesn't mean it can't get better. The truth is that this is a complex issue. Working together with local people here in Sumatra, helping to understand what they need and helping to educate them about the importance of conservation, I believe that's the way forward. I set up the Sumatran Ranger Project in 2016 to try and be a part of the solution after seeing the extent of human-wildlife conflict in the buffer zone communities and to help provide jobs that don't rely on palm oil or poaching. Now we've got a team of 5 full-time rangers working here, helping to protect the Leuser ecosystem. This gives me real hope for its future. Every time you visit Auckland Zoo, you're supporting our wild work in Sumatra. To date, through zoo visits and donations, our Auckland Zoo Conservation Fund has contributed over $4 million to conservation projects in New Zealand and around the world. To find out more, visit aucklandzoo.co.nz.